Yo, yo, you know what it is, man. Welcome back to Standing A Live with your host, Jay Ford, aka The Capo, as well as my co-host, Big Dog of the show, DOC, man. What's happening with you, Big Dog?
All right, man. Just happy to be back in the house with Jason one more time. Talk about this sweet sciences game that we love.
Right, absolutely, man. As always, thanks to the fans tuning in and showing support, as well as our sponsors, Conceited Nobody Says Boxing Academy and Nutrition Plus. They got all that muscle and fitness stuff for you, from boxing classes to personalized training. Tonight, we are going to break down some of the action that's been going on in the headlines of boxing throughout this past couple of weeks. We'll talk about Edward Berlanga's win over Jason Quigley. We'll talk about the Canelo news, just some of that stuff that's a buzz, if you will, in the sport of boxing, man.
Yeah, my bad. It was some good fights last week. It was some good
really
fights last weekend.
It was some solid action, and really, I mean, this whole summer thing
Yeah,
is really coming together, and we're heading into that month everybody's looking forward to,
yep.
meaning July, and we know the fireworks that are due to take place in terms of the Spence and Crawford fight. With that being said, we're going to roll on to a little bit of history, man. We are flashing back this day, June 29th, 1933. Italian boxer Primo Carnera defeated Jack Sharkey in 6 rounds at Madison Square Garden. This was the third European to win the lineal heavyweight championship in terms of boxing at this particular point in time. Carnera stood 6'7". At one point, it was a dispute: 6'7" or was he 6'6"? Came out he was 6'6" and 275 pounds, which at that time was a record for
You said how many pounds?
275, or maybe it was 270. It was a record at that time. Putting that in perspective, I don't believe that record was beat until Valuev.
Yeah,
With the 7 foot and and then of course we've had Wilder and some of those guys, but they didn't have the height and that particular weight. I guess Fury you can add into that in terms of nowadays putting that into perspective.
yeah.
Because I believe he is at 6'7", whatever range, and although he got down to a very lower weight this past fight, I mean he's known to be up there. But regardless,
what was this fighter's name again? My bad.
Carnera.
Yeah,
Carnera.
it's something about him that stand out for me, man.
Primo's the first name. And of course, he was Italian American boxer. He was nicknamed the Ambling Alp and the Gentle Giant. He was an orthodox fighter. He was also someone who got into professional wrestling. Now here's the funny part of that, and we all know the theatrics and things that go into wrestling. Although you do have to be semi-athletic to some degree.
Do you? Because what about Samuel Peters?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right. So he did hold a pro wrestling record of 119 wins before suffering his first defeat. And again, you can say he was on the promised side of the storyline, but regardless, he did have a wrestling career as well as a pro boxing career, which touted 89 wins, 14 losses, with 72 KOs in terms of victories. And I
Wait a
believe
minute. How many KOs?
72.
Goodness.
So this is where the story gets interesting. So as you start to put some of those statistics, if you will, records, whatever, in perspective, I believe the 72 KOs was the most KOs of a heavyweight boxer in history, and I believe it still stands till today. I can't think of that being beaten any time in between that. In terms of the heavyweight division he was said to be mob tied throughout his career.
Which isn't surprising considering this time of when this was.
Right. And we're talking about the 30s. We're talking about boxing at a time when there's only certain pools of individuals with liquid cash.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And at the time, we know boxing was also run, I won't say run completely, but a large portion was mob tied just due to the fact of how promotions were run at that particular time during that era. In 1930, he was cited in a bout with Bombo Chevalier, which was considered a fixed bout. So Primo was not allowed to fight.
Bombo, was this a wrestling match?
Yeah, but no, this was boxing. This was 1930 something. But so he got banned from fighting in Cali. There were other fights that were questionable. Some ended in where a fighter would be disqualified for almost next to nothing. The bottom line, I guess, is this. For some fans, how true is the 72?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when you put that in perspective, and like we were saying even before we started to peel this onion even slightly, how boxing was back then.
Right.
So I'm sure there are a lot of records that could be looked into if one was to investigate the possibility of fixing during a certain era of time. However, me with this particular stat of the 72 KOs and being mob tied, you would have to think, man, there were quite a few of those bouts that may have
People
been breathing wins where he just breathed extra hard when they got close together and the guy fell. What are your thoughts? Let me just put it this way. What are your thoughts, one, on the 72 record, and then also possibly being mob tied? And then the second part of that, or the second phase of the question is, do you think organized crime, I'm going to just put it that way, has much to do with boxing today?
First off, the 72 knockouts, it's not impressive to me from the standpoint of it could have an asterisk attached to it. It's hard for me to just say that with no kind of source for my accusation. So I'll just say that it's not something that I revere or hold something to a high esteem or high regard. He does have the number one rank with the 71. Second to him was George Foreman with 68.
Right.
So being just personally, I would look at George Foreman or Vladimir Klitschko comes in 53rd to a higher regard than him, because I know that they fought 9 people. And then after that is Joe Louis and Max Baer. Other fighters that I'm familiar with. And just because I'm not familiar with him, don't diminish the value of what he did in the ring. As far as the mob accusations, I definitely believe that a lot of boxing has historically been controlled by the mob. Great heavyweight fighter who people really don't speak about this accusation, who died in what's considered a mysterious circumstance, was Sonny Liston. And he was said to have mob ties and things like that. It was even speculation that he threw the fight with Ali, which I really don't think he did. But if he did, it wouldn't be shocking. Today, are we talking about today too?
Yeah, even being in the present day with organized crime and in ties to boxing.
I think organized crime don't have the same that it had this time, and even in the late 80s and maybe parts of the early 90s. I do think it's people who fix fights or have influences. I don't know who these people are, what their end game is, but like with anything, social media killed the mob too. Everybody ought to be famous, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's that same level of dedication where if you don't go out there and perform how you want, we're going to break your knees. So I just don't know.
It's harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, when I think about the possibility of organized crime being tied to boxing nowadays, I think of it more of a wash of money standpoint than a trying to control. Just because
shout out to Jay Prince.
There's so much. There's so much else to do if you're in organized crime, but boxing still allows you to get into the game, whether you start a boxing gym or you just kind of pick up an advisement or so. It still has that gray area. So I don't think that there's so much of a fixing from the mob, but I think organized or mob or any organization. I mean, because you got Marcus, you got China. I mean, there's a lot of organized crime now. I just think it's more.
You gotta go on Wikipedia to find them all.
Going on than boxing in terms of a cash cow in
I
the
think-
American mainstream of money.
I think
Even though
most
it's entertainment and a lot of money in boxing.
definitely. I think that the most influence comes from corrupt promoters. Situations like that, where it is, I would be scared to cheat because it seems like no matter what, it always get exposed in the end,
Right.
and then it ruined what is perceived to be a illustrious career, whether it was before or after the accusations. But it seemed like we just see the recent things where football players get suspended for the whole season for gambling.
Yeah, we did see
So
that.
that's one of the things about not having a union in boxing. There's no kind of across the board type punishment. Like in this particular case, he couldn't fight in California.
Right.
Saying, but you can go fight in Nevada
You
right
can
next
go-
door.
yeah, right
You can
next
go
door.
Mob Town.
Yeah.
Well, that's pre-Mob Town. That Vegas wasn't even a thing at this point in time, was it?
Well, I
In
don't think
1940.
so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't believe so. And not at that time.
Yeah.
You still getting it built up. They still had the sawdust on some of those casino floors.
What's a big out?
A big one?
No, I'm saying that was his nickname. What's Big Al?
Oh, man, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm thinking they just called him a mountainous man. I don't know, but
Like the Alps,
yeah,
Appalachians.
like,
Oh, okay,
I
okay,
just-
okay. That makes
I
sense.
wouldn't have wanted none
That
of
really
those
makes sense.
nicknames that they gave him.
When you
I
big
mean, he had
ugly,
quite a
you
few
whatever they
runs.
call you. Big stupid, big ugly. No, when you big and shit, they just name you what's up, top of the world face. You everything that they want you to be. When you big, you short or you super fat, you gotta take
Yeah,
or you
gotta
super
take
black,
it.
you can take Eric, what's up, midnight? You gotta take
Yeah,
any
you gotta
nickname you get.
And it's
But
funny you mentioned that during his era of time, like when he was birthed and fought professionally, the average height of a male at that time was like 5'6" or something. 5'5".
And I'm over here looking at his record. He was getting knocked out with 6'1" people. Do you know how the did with 6'1" person? Like you could have been the next Lurch.
Right.
We had
right.
plans for you, and this is what you
This
how
is
you
what
go
you
out.
give us.
One
Oh,
interesting
shit.
fact before we move on, I was looking at his wrestling career. The only wrestler I knew when I seen on Wikipedia they fought was Luthez. You familiar with it?
No.
Luthez. See, now you make me feel like a wrestling nerd. We used to
You
look
know
at all
what,
that. He called some
wrestling-
shit. That's I think they said, if I'm not mistaken, I could be. I think that's who they said.
Did he turn into another wrestler?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say that it was certain part of Ric Flair patterned himself after him, but I don't think it's right. But he had this move called the Luthez Press. I don't know why the fuck I know that, but I know that shit. Hell yeah.
Man, that's what's up, man.
Man.
That just lets you know entertainment's been going.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time running, and we're getting to see some of the fruits of the glamour of it, I guess,
Definitely.
now in terms of the sport of boxing we love. So that's our flashback, man, of this day in history. Moving on along, just a ticket alert for Hits Boxing. It returns to the Rosemount area at the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center, July 7th. This is a Friday. Matter of fact, it's
Next
next
Friday,
Friday.
yeah.
It's next Friday. If you're in the area and you'd like to get tickets, you can visit hitsboxing.com. This is not at the Horseshoe, so for anybody thinking Rosemount, this is a whole.
Where is this at?
different-
This is Illinois.
It's still Illinois.
Yeah.
It's just in it's really pretty much in the city, kind of, man. You kind of in the suburbs in the city. It's not too far. It's sort of relative to, I want to say, is that the White Sox Park? It's somebody's
Kaminsky. Yeah,
park,
Kaminsky.
not too
Yeah.
far away. But again, man, that's Hits Boxing Entertainment. Big Bobby Hits up
Always
there
put on a
doing
fantastic
his
show.
thing. Yep, this should be another good card. He has a couple rematches on the card, some area favorites, of course. So as always, you can check out Hits Boxing Entertainment's website and get all the valid information that you may want in terms of making your purchase. With that being said, man, we would also like to give a big shout out to super lightweight Donald Ward, based out of Tennessee, Memphis 10, to be respectful. You know what I mean? He steps into the ring this Friday, June 30th, to face Emeka Nwokolo. I'm
That's a
butchering
rough
that last
fight.
name. I know it. But this is a young, undefeated fighter, I believe, based in St. Petersburg, Africa. So
Saint what?
St. Petersburg, ain't that?
I think
Africa?
down south, yeah.
Yeah. So for Ward, I know he's fought anywhere and everywhere, but I don't think he's ever gone there. So he's literally
Wait a minute, he going to Africa to fight?
yeah, he's going there to fight. So and like you said, they fight.
Yeah,
So
he probably gonna be bare feet.
this is
I don't get out with that bullshit. I'm sorry.
this is going to be a banger for him. Now, Ward is someone who's on a, let me see what it is, 7-bout win streak. I believe his record currently stands at 20-10. He's a young fighter that does what some of these young fighters do, and that's you just come out of the gates pressing so hard, but don't really have.
How much he said his record was?
I believe it's 20-10 now.
How old is he?
He's in his 20s. I want to say maybe 27, 28. Maybe he started. I don't know. He's young though. He's young.
Yeah.
But he took that inexperience jumping to the fire route and had to learn as he's fighting and taking some L's and taking some fights he shouldn't have. And now he's in a position where I think he's starting to truly understand boxing and understand what it means to build your career and do it the correct way. So again, he's on a 7-bout win streak. This is for an ABF Mid-American Regional title. And again, this is
what title, man?
ABF American Boxing Federation, I believe.
And they fight for it in Africa.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Who was in charge of this belt? Jim Cornette. Yeah. Who's doing this promotion?
It's boxing, man. It's boxing. It's boxing, baby. This shit, you can get a U.S. title anywhere in the world.
You been saying we need to get a Saturday Live belt. We probably had that. We said we get that in time for Errol Spence fight.
I remember.
And we'll fight for the prestigious Saturday Live gold belt.
George
diamond.
George won, was it a WBC Latino or W? It was a WBC.
Blade.
Yeah.
El Blitz.
Hey, and the fight was in America. And that nigga's American. Like I could, and the dude he fought was from the Bahamas or somewhere. That's when it really turned my brain to go. And I said, man, people overlook some of the details just because the detail looks glossy. You put certain alphabets in front of things and it just gets glossy. But yeah, just moving on along. Big ups to Donald, man. I hope you do work, man. Safe travels as well, because that's
definitely safe travels.
And enjoy the experience. I mean, I'm sure you ain't gonna find a bunch of fights over in St. Petersburg. Also, fighting this weekend is another fan favorite of ours that we've had on the show previously. Eric Draper fights in Nashville this weekend on the 30th as well. He's fighting a familiar foe, meaning someone who's beat him before. This was some years ago, and we're talking about Alexei Leyva. I believe he is also from the Tennessee area. Again, this is a rematch for some years back. I talked to Draper earlier today, who was getting prepared for the weigh-ins and whatnot, and he sounded like a kid, just excited. And I asked him, I said, how, as an older fighter, and you're still doing a lot of the club action, you're still on that grind of it all, you know what I mean? How do you still get so excited versus just saying, I've had enough? And he said, not only is he focused in the game and he feels like he's getting some of the best out of himself, he also said that he's enjoying the moment. And he said when it becomes a time when he feels like that he is not prepared to be in the ring, he ain't going to be in the ring. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's where he is. So good luck to him this weekend as well. Again, he's fighting in the Nashville area under the TriStar Boxing banner.
Shout out to Draper. He been on about 3 times. How old is Draper?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Draper down there like a fucking
Draper pushing it.
Draper like that's the equivalent of like a 44-year-old lady going on Star Search. American Got Talent.
Say, damn it, we want to sign her. She got talent, but shit. Listen.
This is what's great about boxing.
Right.
And I said other stuff and just being funny. But when you got a love for it, man, you got a love for it. True. If you can still get out there and perform, compete with younger fighters, you know what I'm saying, get somebody. And we all know that you are always one fight away. So shout out to Draper, man. This is it. Like, it's inspiring for me to see somebody like doing what the fuck they love. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're doing what you love, man, there ain't a single crack joke or nothing that make you feel no way about it and stuff, man. And it's commendable because we grew up at a time where there was a lot of ageism as far as like what you want to do, whether it be music, acting, whatever.
True. Yeah.
So it's good that he has his mental facilities together because I'm sure he's passing the physicals and stuff that say he's capable of doing this. And physicals are pretty stern, you know what I'm saying? And so it's good because being healthy, you know what I'm saying? He could be out here just miserable, but he in the gym doing what he loves.
Absolutely, and I think that's part of it when you see somebody that's not playing with the sport.
Yep.
So although the experience and the age may be there, it's not like he's an individual that's jumping in and out of the ring, meaning jumping in and out of the gym. Fans. Sometimes you have fighters that will take a fight, and then after they win that fight, win or lose, they may not be in the gym for X, Y, and Z amount of days and or weeks, possibly depending on the discipline of the fighter.
Right.
So this is an individual who does not just take fights to get paid.
Right.
This is someone who's actually still disciplined in the game. So good luck again.
And it's always one of them cases you just wish that somebody could have just started their career outside of Indianapolis.
I do feel like that.
That's one of them things right there. Because you waste, unfortunately, but you waste a lot of time. Yeah. And I'll go ahead and say, man, Indianapolis boxing is on life support.
Oh, right.
This is like one of the worst times ever in boxing for Indiana as far as since I've been in Indianapolis.
And you know what's even crazy, and since we're talking about local and regional, it really fits right in terms of the topics. The sad part of that is nobody, even from the outside, is even trying to touch the market. Like it's almost like they rather say, just let they fans.
I don't want to say, but a specific entity polluted it. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Say it started the smoke in the air before the Canadian fires.
I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it at that.
But yeah, no, but I'll agree without even getting on it like that. But I think you're right. Sometimes when things catch a bad light, it makes others leery of a market that's truly there. You know what I mean? I mean, the market is here, and we see it get stretched if you're up north in terms of the Gary area and whatnot, because you can easily pop a Chicago show off and catch those fans. But the same way it can be caught going on the other side of the state line is the same way it can be caught staying within the state line.
Definitely.
I'm just hoping to see a revamp, man. And I don't. Again, it's not even about the name. It's just about the brand of Indiana boxing. I would hate for a young talent to almost become what it has become with a lot of the basketball and the football talent from the state. They all leave and rarely return, especially if they are able to truly branch out. And that's no knock on them. I'm just saying, to me, that's just us not nurturing our talent sometimes and making them feel welcome at home. Moving on along, man. Let's start off with some of the hottest news that's been out in the past about, I guess, week or so, 10 days. We talking Canelo. We talking PBC. We talking Charlo. We're talking a lot of big things. Now, my question to you is, one, is this a good move for both parties, PBC and Canelo?
It's a great move. I think it's a great move. It's great for Canelo because I think that once he couldn't get the Bivol fight, Matchroom at his own didn't have nothing for him. He had beat up all the white boys in Europe. Nobody else. There was nobody else left. He went to England, looked for the Red Coast. They wasn't there. He went to Scotland, found out Braveheart was already dead. It was over. It was over and shit. He went to Russia and shit. The key to crush off. They all gone. Right. So he said, "Damn, I gotta make some more money."
So this is do you think that
this the cash out? He cashed out.
So
he's cashing out.
So do you think he has a time frame of fight? When you say that, I'm just asking. Yeah. What do you mean by that? Like a 3 mega fight thing, and he's done? He gonna move on to the
this cinema? I don't even know how he gonna get through these 3 fights. People see he is looking like he lining up to fight Charlo. First off, it's a good move for PBC too. Oh, absolutely. PBC just keep rearing their ugly head at the haters. Like everybody hate this, especially the year PBC is having an epic year. Al Heyman has proven that he knows what he's doing. He's a fucking man. He knows what he's doing. And he ain't gotta say shit.
Yeah,
His actions speak for the word. It was a law in PBC for a little bit, but PBC's PBCing.
Right.
But it's a good move for Canelo financially. I don't know what the particulars are on the finances, but he's going to be reintroduced to a market that he got known in, where it was fighting particular fighters. He came up fighting fighters that was well known in America, whether it be Cotto, a lesser level of James Kirkland, Austin Trout, of course Floyd Mayweather, and the likes of these fighters. Lara. He had trouble with these black fighters, so he didn't want to mix it up. Even when he beat Danny Jacobs, it was more Danny Jacobs fighting like a sucker to me.
Yeah.
What gets me is like I don't know how successful he'll be in these fights. Everybody think it's just a wash that he's going to beat Charlo. Charlo been inactive for a year and a half, almost 2 years. So everybody's saying, but something about Charlo's better than John Ryder. If Charlo, and y'all forbid Charlo died today, he'd still be better than John Ryder.
Right.
He's still a better component or opponent than John Ryder. Charlo's a seasoned veteran. I'm sure they get some fantastic training down there with Ronnie Shields. Canelo is on the back end. He's on, they say, the back nine. He gets tired. He's not really throwing combinations, that head movement shit don't look as cute as it did back in the Cotto fights and shit like that. Charlo is a live underdog. And what I'm so happy about, I can't wait to see the line. Should he beat Charlo? I think next up will be Benavidez. I don't think he's a favorite against Benavidez, especially like if he would have been 2 years ago. But if you go look at Canelo's last few opponents, man, he's been fighting shit. Whether it was Rocky Fielding, Callum Johnson, damn, what's the boy name, man, who he broke his fucking face. I can't remember his name, but he broke his shit. Then he beat up the shit out of Ryder. But he hasn't been fighting these kind of hungry fighters. He's fighting people who are scared of him before they get him around. Now, over here, PBC, they looking at chops. They want to make their name. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to make their bones. Canelo, he said, he made some kind of comment on Twitter like, now it's me against everybody. Which, incidentally, could be the motivation Canelo needs. Canelo could very well be the fighter who fights to his opponent's potential. He could show us something that he's been lacking. You know what I'm saying? He come out here fighting. It's hard to tell how Bivol handled him. It's hard to tell. But I think the lineup is Charlo, Benavidez, Errol. Errol is his mega fight. Should he be able to get the one? They beat at 168. That's their mega fight. It'll, of course, be maybe end of next year. If that's how it's going to go, it'll be definitely sometime. 24.
What way do you think they fight at?
It's gonna have to be 68.
You think Spence gonna go 68?
Yeah, for Canelo fight. Yeah, they said that Spence is really struggling to get to this. No, Spence said that Spence said his natural weight is 160. He said either 160 or 168.
See, now I can see the 60.
Yeah, he said either 160 or 168 where he want that fight. And so
So you say,
and what it is, that's what I'm saying. It's in a year and a half time.
He'll do what he has to do.
Fill out, you know what I'm saying? Do things like that. And I think that it'll be nearly both of their swan song. Should it be like that? And it'll be incredible in Dallas. It'll be an incredible fight. But this is predicated on Canelo being able to get past these first two legs. Something that's going to surprise a lot of people is the size difference between him and Charlo. I think people think that he gonna come in there bigger than Charlo. And I think Charlo gonna come in, and Charlo, he's a skilled fighter. He has the jab, he's fundamentally sound, and that's the kind of shit. And it's not Caleb Plant. It's not somebody who's gonna bounce around, run. It's somebody who can fucking crack with you.
And he got that young boy bouncing. What I mean by that is you only young once, like them old people used to say, man. And even when you in shape, when you older, you are fucking older. And those reflexes just aren't the same even when they're sharp.
Right.
And I just feel like, to me, when I look at that matchup, when I think about that matchup, I just think Charlo has that spark right now. Not that Canelo can't find some motivation at this particular point in his career, but I just feel like Charlo, when we talk about that spark, that young man get off, you know what I mean? I just look for that to be part of the equation of winning for me.
Now, when we say young man smart, Charlo is older than Canelo.
Yeah,
he's a year older now. To your point, Canelo been in some wars.
Yeah,
he's got a lot more mileage on him, but I must say Charlo hasn't had the most prestigious run at middleweight either. He's fought some quality fighters. I'm not.
The resume is, you know what I mean. I'm not even talking that right now.
Yeah.
But when you talk that, there is a disparity, if you will, in terms of level of competition throughout an amount of time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If anybody wants to start there, well, yeah, y'all just said Feldy, you that's a small stretch in the mileage that Canelo. Now, remember, Canelo been sparking since he was young. So part of his age is deceptive in the sense of how long he's been sparking. You know what I mean? So when I say young man pop, when I look at Charlo's and them and that excitement and that, not that, again, Canelo can't find motivation or is not motivated. I just think they are part of this young man's world of the sport of boxing when I think about it. And when I think about it in the ring, I'm thinking, or at least, again, my opinion, Charlo's spark in terms of reflexes and the get off will be just that it'll have to be. I mean, that has to be part of the equation of winning for him. It can't be trying to be overly cerebral and countering and shit like that. It just can't be. Because Canelo will bring that fight to him and then understand how to cruise because of some of his championship caliber experience, how to finish that fight. So that's just kind of, and we got.
I looked at a few metrics. I didn't realize the height disparity. Charlo 5 inches taller than Canelo. He got a 3.5 inch punch reach. Yeah. So it's a dangerous fight. Yeah. But I think Canelo, he's hearing what people are saying, and he want to let motherfuckers know I'm still that motherfucker.
That's true.
But it's a hell of a coup for him. But I think this is he's cashing out on this deal right here.
I mean, it would make sense. He's had a hell of a career, and why beat yourself to death?
Yeah.
So to speak.
Oh, that's what he's doing with these last 3 fights, though. He's risking it all, and I just want to see how Canelo chin hold up because Canelo been known for a phenomenal chin. If I think right, I think he only been down one time. That was Dakota's brother. Yeah. It's some shit. It's some shit.
I mean, this been. Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you what it is. Like Charlo, not that super active, but Errol and Benavidez who stay on your ass, and you known to get fucking tired. Doing some dangerous fights. Yeah. But of course, Canelo, Errol, he's far down the line. He got shit to worry about later this month. July.
A whole lot to worry about later this month. Speaking of former champs and those showing get-back skills, Tevin Farmer returned to the ring with a unanimous win over Avery Sparrow this past Saturday. This was the first bout for Farmer in over 3.5 years, or roughly 3.5 years.
What they talking about Tevin Farmer fighting Tank a long time ago? Like he was going to be his competitor or some shit.
And then it just kind of faded
after he lost
that title fight. And I think, again, that shows that flash of boxing. Yeah. You hide as fish grease one day, boy, they pull that plug on you.
That's how it is when you ain't got no power, though.
That grease get cold, you know what I mean?
A fighter like him who ain't got no kind of pop, who ain't got nothing to bring people there, he had 31 fights with 6 knockouts. That's not fan, you know what I'm saying? He has to fight, and he's a fantastic fighter, skill-wise. But when you got to be doing something extraordinary and stuff to make people want to see you fight. So yeah.
So with that being said, it was after a 3.5-year layoff.
Damn, he barely won that fucking fight too.
You know what I mean?
Some close scores. No. You know, I'm looking at some wrong shit. Go ahead.
The cards was all in his
favor. Wait a minute, this was close. He had 295-94 to the 97-92 against Avery Sparrow, who was 11-4. He's 11-4.
But he's not.
But he shouldn't be. World champ. But he's not on that level of where we thought
Farmer was.
Yeah. So, but again, like you said, though, he some time off.
Yep. I think for me, looking at this fight, yeah.
Avery Sparrow, man, yeah, he's trash.
You know what I mean?
He got knocked out by Rolly.
Yeah, you can.
I was wondering where I knew the name from. He's not trash though, but yeah.
But you can't put too much weight on it. win, lose, or draw to me. One, because Tevin Farmer is a former world champ. Two, your first bout back, just because you won it doesn't mean you truly back and ready for the action of what's going on right now.
Yeah, he got to work his way back up.
Yeah, you got to work. It's a whole working game again.
Mm-hmm.
But big ups to Tevin.
Shout out to Tevin.
Moving on along, Edward Berlanga, man, 12 round, another unanimous decision win over Jason Quigley, who was a very, very capable fighter. Controlled the bout. I don't think he was really in trouble at any point by any means. However, is this the second fight in a row for Berlanga no KO, or am I mistaken?
It's about third.
Okay,
This could be third.
so have we seen some of the fire, if you will, dim slightly in terms of Berlanga? Like with the whole KO and oh man, you don't want to face him, you don't want to fight him. How do you think things are shaping up now? He's still winning. We're not.
This is fifth straight. This is fifth straight fight without no KO.
Okay.
And even though he is winning his last fight, for one, he's never beat anyone. His biggest win is probably over Linnell Bellows, or even this fight right here. I've never been impressed with Berlanga. Never. It was exciting when ESPN was doing the ESPN thing. It was exciting, but when he fought Demond Nicholson, I seen how that shit went. I said, "Oh, it's smoke and mirrors."
Right.
You gotta get these kind of guys out of here. Jace Quigley, who got stopped by Andre. He's got stopped by Andre, and Andre is a fantastic fighter, high level skill, but he's not known as a puncher. And you could get somebody out there. He stopped. You got him down a couple times. This is your debut on the zone. Just been talked about. He didn't make a smart move going to the zone. He went to the zone, I think, with thoughts of a Canelo.
That's
where
what I'm saying.
He could have went to BBC and got the shit beat out of him. You know what I'm saying? But now they aiming for him to fight Munguia, who's equally unimpressive. And I guarantee you that fight would be fireworks.
It is.
That fight will be fucking incredible. I'll pay money to see that shit. It's like a casual. It's a casual fucking boxing fan dream. Cause it's gonna be a bunch of fucking. They gonna fight. Hell yeah, and they might knock each other out.
I just think it would be one of those belts that's not going to the cards.
Definitely.
I just couldn't even
fathom
that particular ending. Like unanimous, I just couldn't even fathom.
Like two hype machines.
Yeah, and they're two come forward guys. There's not a ton of slickness to it. They are what they are. You know what I mean? What Dennis Green said they were
who we thought they were.
So
shout out to Dennis.
But again, on the fight level of it, shit, you ain't gonna want to mess around.
Them motherfuckers, they better quit talking.
Come right out the gate, going right at it.
They better quit talking that Canelo and Benavidez shit. For some strange reason, they say Oscar De La Hoya, which he's mad at Eddie Hearn, so he's not trying to entertain the Berlanga shit.
Right.
But he's saying dumb shit like Munguia want to fight Benavidez. He trying to get his motherfucking dick knocked in the dirt.
And they better pick and choose who they putting up for slaughter on that gold boy.
No, they better fight. They better let him fight the dude who beat him up, Devin Chico, last time. Better get your revenge and go fight somebody else.
And do something else.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you gotta pick them battles, man. It's a lot of good fight action, man, and that's what I'm really liking right now.
Hell yeah.
That fights are being made versus us talking about. I hope they.
I know.
You know fights are being made.
I know.
That's really cool, man. Moving on along, let's talk Jared Anderson.
Whoa. Let's go recap something else from the past weekend. Eric Lubin got back in action after it lost to Fondor in a classic fight. I think that may be in 2021. Potential fight of the year. Shout out to Lubin with a terrible stoppage. Did you watch the fight?
Yeah.
Reyes got up at 9. The referee sped that motherfucker up at the last second. And I really want to be that mad, but I had this motherfucker on my parlay to go over 8 rounds.
Oh, I heard that.
Oh, I didn't care who won. I just needed to get over 8 rounds. But congratulations to Erickson. Erickson's a fantastic fighter who just keep running and shit. Whether it's a Charlo uppercut or a gigantic Fondura arms and shit, but Fondura,
even
moving nice.
I know Fondura is not a big time casual fan favorite, but the motherfucking fights it looks awkward at times, sometimes with his style. But he knows what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah.
In that ring, it just kind of
Fondura.
Yeah.
No, he don't.
You don't think so? You think he just wild out of control? No,
he's not this out of control, but he don't fight to his advantage of his height. He be in there, that's how he got clipped.
Well, he gets clipped, but
talking about that's how he got knocked sparked the fuck out.
Yeah, but I'm saying I just think that's part of.
It's part of being knocked the fuck out. He too big to be fighting like that, man. Listen, you gotta fucking use range. You ain't gotta be in here.
You ain't gotta be in there.
Hell yeah, we undersized big man. He fight.
Yeah, that's true.
When he be on the inside fight, he be like Kendrick Perkins dribbling. You ever see when he's in the driveway dribbling and shit? You gotta look at that shit. But that was a fantastic fight. This was the undercard to the Carlos Adames versus J-Rock. Did you see that shit?
Oh man, J-Rock got
man. Listen, I don't know what the fuck Breadman them talking about saying it was a bad stoppage.
Oh no,
I have no idea. J-Rock can box. Granted, the motherfucker can box, but J-Rock can also get beat up.
Man, he got beat up.
He got beat from pillar to post.
Yeah, he got beat up.
And listen, I'm gonna tell you, that's a microcosm of what we're gonna see in July 29. That's the kind of fight we're gonna see in July 29. That's the kind of mark my words. It's gonna be something similar to that. That motherfucker beat him all around the ring.
I know he just beat him backwards.
And it was just a attrition thing because J-Rock had his moments. He fought, he boxed. Coming off that loss, they should have had him fighting this fight. Or would he come off a win? He came off a win, I believe, last fight, but he then got sacrificed.
Man, I don't know.
Adames look good to me, man.
That's what I'm about to say.
That motherfucker look good.
The other side, and you say, okay, the credit's due also because you can't diminish that win for him. Adames, because he went out there and put in the work.
Yeah,
he did what he was supposed to do. I think for some of us, and when I say some of us, I mean just fans. I think I was looking for a different J-Rock to be in the ring.
What J-Rock was you looking for? Because I've seen one great J-Rock, and that's when he beat up
Hurt.
Yeah, he beat the shit out of him.
Hurt, but I was just looking for more of that methodicalness. And maybe it was
when a motherfucker wind blowing
that's what I mean. Win. Maybe it was he was just too fucking overwhelmed, and it wasn't shit to get methodical about, but trying to survive. You know what I mean, to some degree. Because he did have some times of get back and some nice action. But for the most part, for me, I just thought he was undergunned.
He was, man, and that motherfucker. Adames had so much fucking energy. I really hated how and Breadman a great boxing mind, a hell of a trainer. He always usually has some great insight, and maybe he was caught up in the moment. But when he said they shouldn't have started the fight, he didn't even go down. I've seen fighters get killed without touching the ground. You know what I'm saying? So that going down don't mean shit when you out here getting beat. Like this was the proverbial getting beat from pillar to post. Yeah. It was like he got beat. He didn't get hit every turnbuckle. He like slid on every rope getting hit. This rope, this rope, this rope, this rope. Now let's just cross around the middle and get beat up. Now let's go up like a cross and get beat up. He was whooping his ass, man, and it was fucking insane to me, man. Oh, and I fuck with Breadman, man, but man, listen. I almost was trying to figure out a way, like I was trying to find an app on my phone to throw in the tab.
So you should throw it in there for you.
Oh, I tried to, for my phone. I was like, Showtime ain't got no option for me to throw in the tab. I'm like, damn, I feel like fucking Adrian. I feel like Rocky's woman. Yeah.
No, and the kid going down.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. And it's tough to both because J-Rock, oh, man, I'm telling you something that you probably take consideration. He got knocked out by Jerison Rosario, right? The fighter he just fought from the DR.
Right.
Rosario from the DR. It's people in the DR right now trying to talk about when I get to America, I'm beating up J Rock. The DR he will not go there for no vacation because niggas in the DR they
for the
beat
wrong
him.
reasons.
There you go get him.
Go
It's like that little boys running to him punching, no fear. Cause they know he gonna fall. Don't take that Philly shit to DR, man. That shit's crazy. That's just he got bit knocked up by somebody who got knocked out with a stomach shot. So I quit. Shout out to J Rock. I'm out here just having fun now. I still think that J Rock should have just chilled the fuck out before he went to this fight.
I agree. I think this was a tougher fight than he anticipated. Not that I think.
Oh no, I agree with that 1,000,000%. And one more thing on that card. I had it pulled up. The boy. Your boy. Millionaire son. Ryan Ragland was on that undercard.
Oh yeah.
You knew that?
Yeah.
He lost to Ray Robinson out of Cincinnati. You know what it is. You know what it is. It's one of the mafia setups. The mob called in that shit. You know, Reggie was a mob guy. He had mob ties. Listen, sell out. He
gets on cars though.
Who, Ron?
I mean, if he wants to,
this is his first fight since he was at the Tyndall 2 years ago.
Right.
No. Tyndall 4 years ago.
It's because he ain't been fighting. But I'm saying when he decides
to go out there,
he tells somebody he lazy.
When he need that quick 500.
And I swear, they'll pick him up like he the kind of dude could go to the park. He'd be like, man, shit, I ain't seen you in Cleveland, man. Fuck it, man. You want to run? He always can get a run, man.
Yeah.
Oh shit. But I think he
really
playing with boxing though, because I watched his post after that fight. He said, I thought I was ready to do this.
No, he didn't.
Man, look,
don't tell me that.
Man, I'm just
don't tell me that.
He might be done playing because you can't play.
Oh, so you saying that he gonna go on that championship run? Shit, is that what you alleging?
If he playing on the internet or something?
Yeah.
Because man, he is again a guy with a good heart, good spirited dude. But man, you don't fuck with boxing, man.
Yeah, he ain't playing. He know it. He got a clock in his head. He got a 50-second clock. I got the 50. I'm falling no matter where my opponent is. I'm getting the fuck up out of this ring.
He ain't playing. Shit,
man, listen. I think he too far beyond. I think he too far beyond to catch his father's record. If that's the goal, but.
Yeah, I don't think he got enough years left in the ring before he get disqualified because there's different rules now.
Yeah,
you get to not have no win for 22 bouts in a row.
That's how they do that.
Yeah, you ain't gonna. Well, your point's gonna be so low, you gonna have to fight somebody else got no point. You know what I mean? It's tough.
So then he gotta get that quick win in and go back.
Yeah, you gotta get a win somewhere. He gotta fight his buddy from work or something. Man, you don't want to get on this fight card because other than that, yeah.
When the fuck did Reggie give up? It's like, you know what? I ain't gonna try no more. You know what?
I don't know. But Reggie have 200 fights or something goofy?
Yeah. Reggie's first fight was in 1987. He lost. Then he beat Thomas Burton. Then he went on an epic losing streak.
Yeah, he fought.
He took 2005.
2005?
Yeah.
That's a hell of a stretch.
That's a hell of a stretch.
To not be winning.
That's a whole, like, he's seen a lot of champions come and go.
Yeah.
He was there, like, during the beginning of the Tyson era.
He was there
to the middle of the Floyd era.
Yeah, he was there for years.
Did Reggie ever write a book? Reggie could write a book, man.
I know he was thinking about it. I don't know if he ever. Damn. I was.
You seen that shit?
66 and 207.
He got over 300 fights, man.
Golly.
And 17 draws.
Remember, he told us, man, he done made millions, man. He done made millions. He done did that.
And then got on the bus. Parents were on the.
And really, if you look at that, it sounds goofy, but even on a low ball number, I mean, he probably did. Like, just over 300 fights. You know what I mean? Even at 5-something grand, $7 grand, he might hit him for 10, 15 to 20. You said they was all 800s. You said they was all.
He probably did. Listen. I'm gonna tell you though, Reggie was fighting like it was the fucking 20s.
Reggie's fighting every 2 weeks.
Reggie was fighting every 2 weeks, man. Reggie was fighting every 2 weeks.
That's that era, man.
I wonder if he ever get that itch.
To just say fuck it. Just going out there trying to get. He should
Shit,
just go ahead and try to get the 70.
one more title run.
He should just try to get the 70. Fuck it. He only 4 wins off.
Hell yeah,
You
on
know what I
everything.
mean?
Floyd ain't got 70 wins.
I swear.
You better than Floyd or something. You got more. That's what he got more wins than Floyd. He got more wins than Floyd Mayweather, Bernard Hopkins, whatever y'all want to say. I got more wins than y'all.
I bet if we look up his wins, especially with recent history, nobody else in Indiana. I know his losses is incredible too, but nobody in Indiana that I can think of has 66 wins. Like if you
Shit, ain't nobody in Indiana got 67 fights. Shit, they probably the most, like the top 3 motherfucking fighters in Indiana ain't got more shit than him. Hell no.
Just said, man, of course not, motherfucker.
Hey,
most people ain't got
he
67
said the crib with 4 cell phones up on one of these gonna ring. Incidentally, 3 of them will ring, and he would just get up and go fight.
Oh shit.
He went to sleep with his boxer trunks on. Shout out to Reggie. Shout out to Reggie. Reggie need a fucking book. I know Reggie has a hell of a fucking story, man. A hell of a story. Definitely.
He got some stories.
Definitely.
Moving on along, man, talking about this weekend's fight action up in Toledo, Ohio, airing on ESPN. This is Saturday, July 1st. This is a 9-bout card headlined by Jared Anderson versus Charles Martin. Of course, Anderson, Big Baby, he calls himself the real Big Baby and all of that stuff. At least that's part of the Creole. Anyway, he's taking that undefeated record up against Charles Martin, who I know some fans are like, man, Charles Martin. Charles Martin has had his moments. I don't expect him to have a moment against Jared Anderson.
Charles Martin don't expect to have a moment.
But I do expect Jared Anderson to look impressive again. And I do expect this to be another KO victory. What are your thoughts, one, on Jared Anderson and this particular matchup, if you have any?
It's a fight where, first off, he's fighting a replacement opponent. I can't remember if it was a failed drug test or whatever, but the fighter who was in the top 10, one of the sanctioning bodies, where they was trying to line them up so that they could fight each other. The fight didn't go how it was. They got Charles Martin in here as a replacement. Last time we seen Charles Martin, he was bobbing against the ropes and shit against Luis Ortiz and shit.
Oh
man, but I'm gonna tell you, man. All jokes aside, I'm trying to see who we replaced. But all jokes aside, the thing about heavyweight boxing, every fighter has a puncher's chance.
Absolutely.
And the majority of the dudes can knock you out. So for whatever. Jared Anderson, he looks fantastic. He one of my favorite young fighters. And I'm sorry for accusing dude of drugs. Zon Kosabuski, he couldn't get here because of visa issues. But Jared Anderson, he has no days off. As you mentioned, you can't play this boxing shit. You can't be out here horse playing around. I did want to see him fight the other fighter. He has 19 wins, 18 KOs. Jared's like 14. It's gonna be exciting. Jared, he's aware of his presence. He's a character. He said that he didn't want to be an actor, but he see that that's what you got to do sometimes to draw attention to yourself. So I expect him to come out there and put on a show. He's at home. I hope he don't get too anxious. Hope he set up his punches, whatever. Charles Martin, he knows that this one is his last chance. That he gonna have to make some noise. He said he's fighting for his children, and it's a short notice, but even getting sparked by Ortiz, Charles Martin always came to fight. So I think it's gonna be fun while it lasts.
Yep.
I look forward to seeing it. And anybody else on that undercard?
Not that I recall that popped off on my radar, man. Like I said, it is 9 bouts, so you figure it'll at least be 4 on ESPN, depending on if the first fight ended in a KO or not. It might be 5. You might get. But I don't like, and I could be missing somebody. No disrespect, but I didn't recall nobody else's matchup popping off in general in terms of that particular card.
And being that he did get knocked out by What did he get knocked out by? Ortiz, he did have a fight in between there where he won. But dude named Arlisbek Makadov is fighting on this card. He's a fighter who's ranked ahead of Jerry Anderson. A lot of people see this as the predecessor to this fight. Another fantastic fighter. 16 wins, 15 knockouts. He's one of them old, I don't know what the fuck Russian. Yeah, so that's what it seems like they're headed to, which I think that's a fight. That's a fight at this particular time and stuff that they trying to set up. But it's some young prospects. So Jahai Tucker, he's a fantastic fighter. And it's one more guy, man. I'm trying to see if I can pull it. Oh, and Delonte Johnson. Two dudes who buddies and stuff. They sit there, they critique themselves and stuff. They both from Ohio. Like it's an Ohio fight card.
Ohio fight, yep.
Yeah.
And maybe, like I say, I just overlooked some things because that is a solid matchup there in that particular fight.
Yeah.
And I am not familiar with that other heavyweight that you named.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I skipped over him, but that's my infancy in not knowing about him. But as you can hear, fans, it's going to be about on ESPN, which to me, I always love watching fights on ESPN. I don't know what it really is sometimes because
I don't.
The announcers sometimes get on my nerves or whatever. But it's something about ESPN, man. I like watching fights on ESPN. Showtime too. Fuck if HBO did it.
We like fights.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, it's gonna be a fantastic card, I believe. I think it'll be a decent card for what it is for free.
Absolutely, absolutely. With that being
next week, we won't be here, but there is Boots is back in action. He's fighting the guy who beat up Speedy Rashidi. I can't remember his name, but he beat Rashidi up. Let me see. It's a welterweight fight. It's a couple welterweight fights. This is on Showtime, and he's fighting. I can't remember the guy's name. Let me see. It's right here at my fingertips. Deron Boots Ennis versus Romain Villa, a straight come forward fighter, somebody who seems to be tailor-made for a Boots fight, especially with the dude. He fought Don Flamingo last time. That dancing, moving around, Kieran, dude, that dude was a moving fool. And he gave Boots hell in the context of he was just moving. Yeah. So that, but as much as I love Boots, the best fight, competition-wise, will be Virgil Ortiz versus Emmanuel Stanionis. That is going to be a hell of a fight.
This is all on Showtime, right?
Hell no. That Stanionis with Golden Boy, that's a DAZN fight.
So you got a Showtime and a DAZN next week.
Yeah, they got them going heads up, so I'm not really a fan of that, but it is what it is.
And you have a choice, though. I mean, the heads up sucks sometimes, especially when they have two good fights that you may want to see. But at the same time, at least we got a choice, man. Sometimes
I hope they offset each other so I can watch both of these fights. I have to see both these fights, man. It's gonna be a hell of a fight. Stanionis, he's a puncher. Yep. Ortiz is a puncher. Boots is a puncher. Villa's a puncher.
Everybody got shit to prove, and it's time to earn that money.
Next weekend is going down.
So it should be a good weekend of boxing fans. So you got heavyweights this weekend. Next weekend we got welterweights. And we just keep on heating up this summer until we get to that monster matchup of Crawford and Spence.
The monster matchup, the predecessor to the monster matchup will be that Tuesday. The monster NUA versus Cool Boy Steph. This is a hell of a fucking bomb. It's a hell of a bomb.
It just as it keeps going, it just gets hotter. Literally from the temperatures to the motherfucking fights, man. It's going to be a good-ass summer, man. Thank you for tuning in to State of Nate Live. Of course, big ups to all of our fans, our sponsors, to see that nobody says Boxing Academy as well as Nutrition Plus. Stay locked in. Stay tuned in. And please tell a friend.
Shout out to Phil.
Yeah, shout out to Phil.
Shout out to Phil, Glove to Face. Make sure y'all check out GloveToFaceboxing.com. He had a fantastic article on there. Talking about he's critiquing the fight between Spence and Crawford. He is on his page. Go follow Glove to Face, and it's also on our page. You want to catch it from there. Catch y'all.
Peace.